Most people live as if wealth is a zero-sum game, as if for every winner, there needed to be a loser. This is the big lie we were taught from an early age. Wattles, in his almost prophetic wisdom, discovered something that could change his life forever. Wealth is not achieved through competition, but through creation. Stop and think about this for a moment. All of your conditioning, everything you've learned about enrichment, is probably based on the idea of competition. Beat the other, be better, be faster, have more, conquer markets, eliminate competition. This competitive mindset is silently eating away at your soul as you wonder why prosperity always seems to slip through your fingers. Wattles saw beyond the illusion. He realized that true wealth flows abundantly when we operate from a different place, the place of pure creation, of contribution, of adding value. You become rich through creation, not competition, he asserted with unwavering conviction. That changes everything, doesn't it? Have you ever felt that constant tension? Like you're always fighting an invisible current? As if every step towards prosperity needs to be bitten off tooth and nail. This is what it feels like to live in the competitive mindset. But there is another way. Imagine yourself aligned with the natural current of life, where energy flows effortlessly, where your unique talents and abilities express themselves naturally and inevitably, generating prosperity not only for you, but for everyone around you. This is the path of creation. It is the right path that Wattles described more than a century ago, and which remains equally revolutionary today. The silent truth about wealth is that it was never meant to be a struggle. It was never about surviving, but about thriving. It was never about taking, but about giving so abundantly that the return becomes inevitable. But be careful, this is not about charity. It's about creating true value. It's about expanding consciousness beyond scarcity and recognizing the fundamentally abundant nature of life. When you operate from this awareness, everything changes. Your decisions, your actions, your results. Because in the world of competition, you're always trying to take someone's share. In the world of creation, you are always expanding the entire pie, and your slice grows naturally in the process. How many opportunities have you missed because you were looking at what others had instead of focusing on what you could create? How many relationships have suffered because you saw them as competitors instead of collaborators? The first and most profound change happens within you. It is a change of perspective, a transformation of consciousness. See the world not as a battlefield, but as a fertile garden waiting for cultivators. And you are that cultivator. Every thought, every emotion, every action you take is a seed planted in this garden. The seeds of competition bear bitter fruit. The seeds of creation produce unlimited abundance. The choice, as always, is yours. There is an ancient wisdom, rediscovered by Wattles, that explains why some people seem to attract wealth effortlessly, while others constantly struggle. This revelation is centered on the concept of thinking substance. There is one thinking substance of which all things are made, wrote Wattles, and which, in its original state, pervades, penetrates, and fills the interstices of the universe. This is not an abstract or mystical idea. It is a fundamental principle that governs our reality. Everything you see around you, every object, every manifestation of wealth, began as a thought. The chair you are sitting on, the device you are using to read these words, the money in your bank account, all of these first existed as thoughts before becoming reality. And this is where many of us fail on the path to prosperity. Your thoughts are seeds, not casual or passing thoughts, but deeply cultivated ones, nourished by emotion and sustained by unshakable faith. These thoughts communicate with the thinking substance and begin to materialize on the physical plane. Now, think for a moment. What has been the nature of your thoughts about money and wealth? Are they thoughts of scarcity, fear, anxiety, envy? Or are they thoughts of abundance, gratitude, confidence, and expansion? Thinking substance responds to your mental command. She does not judge whether her thinking is good or bad, constructive or destructive. It simply begins to manifest what you most consistently think and feel. Every financial worry, every feeling of not having enough, every envious comparison to the success of others, These are all instructions sent to thinking substance to create more of that same experience. A thought in this substance produces the thing that is imagined by the thought, Wattles asserted with unwavering conviction. Do you feel the weight of this? You are not a victim of economic circumstances. You are not at the mercy of market forces or luck. You are a conscious creator working with thinking substance to manifest your financial reality. This is a tremendous responsibility, but also an incredible power when you vibrate in tune with what you want. Rather than fixating on what you fear, you begin to activate that power. When you maintain a clear mental image of the desired prosperity, supported by the conviction that it is already yours, the thinking substance receives the order and begins to reorganize the circumstances to bring it about. A mind focused on competition is fundamentally divided. Part of your energy is directed towards creating, while much of it is focused on defeating, protecting yourself, comparing yourself. This division dilutes your creative power. Stop right now and watch your mind. Notice how she constantly compares her financial situation to others. Notice how this comparison generates anxiety, fear, or envy, emotions that block the natural flow of abundance. This is the trap of the competitive mind, and the solution is not to compete better. It is to completely abandon the paradigm of competition and fully embrace the path of pure creation. Man can form things in his thought, and by impressing his thought on formless substance, he can cause the thing he thinks to be created. Think of it like an artist facing a blank canvas. The artist does not compete with other artists to create his masterpiece. He simply creates from his unique vision, his inspiration, his authentic expression. This is what Wattles invites us to do, creating our prosperity by authentically expressing who we are, not by fighting against who others are. There is a path to wealth that transcends luck, external circumstances, and even your current abilities. Wattles called it the sure way, an infallible method that, when followed precisely, brings results as certain as the law of gravity. This is not an empty promise. It's an exact science. There's a science of getting rich, wrote Wattles, and it is an exact science. Like algebra or arithmetic, there are certain laws which govern the process of acquiring wealth. When these laws are learned and obeyed, a man will become rich with mathematical certainty. Feel the conviction in these words. Absolute certainty. This is not the language of hope or desire. It is the language of natural law, of inevitability. The right path begins with the complete elimination of fear and doubt. These are the true enemies of your prosperity, more destructive than any external competitor could ever be. Fear contracts, doubt paralyzes. Together, they form an impenetrable barrier between you and the abundance that is your birthright. Have you ever noticed how moments of doubt and fear seem to attract the very circumstances you fear? It's no coincidence. It is the thinking substance responding faithfully to its dominant vibrations. But there is a powerful antidote to fear and doubt: deep, constant gratitude. Gratitude is the vibrational frequency that most aligns with abundance. When you live in a state of genuine gratitude for even the smallest signs of prosperity in your life, you open a direct channel to the source of all wealth. I met a man named Miguel who applied this principle to his life. When he was on the verge of bankruptcy, his small business was sinking into debt, and all the experts advised him to declare bankruptcy and start over. Instead, Miguel began practicing intense gratitude every day, being grateful for the customers he still had, for the opportunity to serve, for the talent he possessed, even for the bills he could pay, no matter how small. He completely abandoned the competitive mindset that made him constantly look at what his competitors were doing, and turned entirely to creating unique value for his customers. Within 6 months, his business had not just recovered, it had thrived in ways he had never imagined. New customers, new opportunities, new partnerships appeared seemingly out of nowhere. But it wasn't magic. It was the exact application of the right way. Miguel had aligned his thoughts, emotions, and actions with the universal laws of prosperity. He stopped fighting the current and learned to flow with it. This is the power of the right way, and the same transformation is available to you now. The truth is that the universe is always working for you, not against you. The laws of prosperity are always operating, whether you recognize them or not. When you align your consciousness with these laws, wealth naturally flows to you. No effort required. Alignment is required. There's no need to fight. Intelligent surrender to the laws that govern abundance is required. It is not necessary to take from others. It is necessary to create from the infinite source available to everyone. The path of certainty requires unshakable faith, not blind faith, but faith based on a deep understanding of universal laws. It is the conviction of someone who knows that the sun will rise tomorrow, not because they wish or expect it to happen, but because they understand the inevitability of this phenomenon. Your prosperity is equally inevitable when you operate from the right path. Let go of any doubts that may still be clinging to your mind right now. Let go of fear like letting go of unnecessary weight. Get into the flow of deep gratitude, feeling as if you have already received everything you want. And then, watch the universe reorganize itself to reflect this new vibration. At the heart of Wattles' philosophy is a revolutionary truth that completely transforms our relationship with wealth. True value creation is the only sustainable path to prosperity. This is not an abstract idea. It is a fundamental law that governs the flow of abundance in our lives. You don't have to take anything from anyone, Wattles wrote. These words directly challenge the dominant paradigm that equates financial success with beating others or taking their share of the market. Deeply understanding this truth frees your mind from the prison of competition and opens the gateway to true wealth creation. Think about it. In a competitive paradigm, you are constantly looking for ways to outperform others, capture customers, dominate markets. This mindset creates stress, anxiety, and often business practices that diminish the total value available in the world. In contrast, the creative mindset constantly seeks to add genuine value, solve real problems, improve lives. This approach not only generates personal prosperity, but expands the total wealth available to everyone. The law of true creation says that your wealth should be proportionate to the value you create and share with the world. Observe your own life for a moment. Where are you operating from a competitive mindset, trying to win or protect what you have? Where are you genuinely creating and adding value? John was a financial advisor who spent years trying to compete for clients, using the same aggressive marketing tactics as his competitors. His results were average, and he lived in constant anxiety about losing clients to competitors. Everything changed when Juo completely abandoned this paradigm. Instead of focusing on the competition, he focused exclusively on how he could create more value for his existing customers. It developed free educational resources, offered more in-depth planning sessions, and began connecting its clients with each other for collaboration opportunities. Within a few months, something extraordinary happened. His clients started referencing him constantly. His practice grew organically, without any marketing efforts. His income doubled, then tripled, while he worked fewer hours and felt more satisfaction. John had discovered the law of true creation in action. This story perfectly illustrates Wattles' principle. You'll get rich more easily if you stop competing for existing shares and start creating new opportunities for everyone. True value creation is limitless because it is rooted in the infinite substance of the universe. There is no shortage of good ideas, creative solutions, or ways to improve lives. The only scarcity is in our limited perception. When you change your fundamental question from how can I gain more from the market to how can I create more genuine value, you activate powerful forces that continually work on your behalf. This shift in perspective has profound implications. You stop seeing others as competitors and start recognizing them as potential collaborators in your mission to create value. You stop fearing scarcity and start operating from inherent abundance. Perhaps the most powerful aspect of the law of true creation is that it aligns your financial success with your personal fulfillment and social contribution. There is no conflict between getting rich and doing good. In fact, they become inseparable. Wattles wrote, "You must give to every man more in use value. Then you receive from him in money value." This is the essence of true creation, the exchange that leaves all parties enriched. Imagine a world where everyone operated from this principle. Every business interaction, every transaction, every venture would leave all parties involved better off. Total wealth would continue to expand, elevating everyone in the process. This is not a utopian dream. It is the natural reality that emerges when enough people abandon the paradigm of competition and embrace the law of true creation. And that starts with you, now. There's a specific state of mind that attracts wealth like a powerful magnet. It's not a state you visit occasionally. It's a vibrational frequency you consistently inhabit. Wallace D. Wattles described it as the creative mind, a direct contrast to the competitive mind that dominates our culture. The difference between these two mindsets is like the difference between night and day. The competitive mind is constantly scanning the environment for threats. You are worried about what others are doing, earning, achieving. It lives in the fear of loss, in the anxiety of scarcity, in the tension of comparison. The creative mind, on the other hand, is totally absorbed in the process of manifestation. It is focused on internal vision, expressing talents, solving problems, generating value. Live in the confidence of abundance, in the joy of expression, in the peace of purpose. A man may think in the competitive way or in the creative way, wrote Wattles. And the way he thinks determines all his outcomes in life. This is not just a philosophical distinction. It is a neurological reality with palpable consequences. When your mind operates in competitive mode, you activate the sympathetic nervous system, your fight or flight mechanism. Cortisol and adrenaline flood your system. Your thinking becomes narrow, reactive, defensive. It is biologically impossible to access your highest creative resources in this state. Contrast this with the creative mind, which activates your parasympathetic nervous system, your rest and digest mode. Feel good. Hormones flow through your body. Your thinking becomes expansive, receptive, innovative. You naturally access your deepest intuition and creativity. It's easy to see which state of mind is most conducive to true prosperity. Here's the transformative truth. You can consciously choose which state of mind to inhabit. Start by looking at your current patterns. How many times a day do your thoughts turn to comparison, envy, the fear of not having enough? How often do you worry about what others are achieving or fear losing what you already have? Each of these thoughts is an unconscious choice by the competitive mind and consequently limiting your prosperity. The good news is that you can make a different choice at any time. Deliberately cultivate the mental states that make up the creative mind. Deep gratitude for everything you already have in your life. Fascination with the process of creating and expressing your talents. Unshakable confidence in the inherent abundance of the universe. Undisturbed focus on your vision, regardless of current circumstances. Genuine joy in the success and prosperity of others. These are not fleeting states. They are mental muscles that you strengthen with consistent practice. One powerful technique is what Wattles called thinking the right way. This involves holding a clear mental image of what you want to create, feeling the excitement of having already accomplished it, and maintaining that image with unwavering faith, regardless of what your current circumstances may suggest. This practice literally reprograms your brain's neural patterns, tuning it to the frequency of abundance. Anna, an entrepreneur who was struggling to get her coaching business off the ground, applied this principle rigorously. For 20 minutes every morning, she visualized her thriving business in vivid detail. Satisfied customers, profound impact, financial abundance, feeling the joy and gratitude as if it were already reality. Initially, nothing seemed to change in his external world, but she persevered, refusing to allow doubt to contaminate her practice. After 3 months, opportunities appeared seemingly out of nowhere. An invitation to speak at a conference, an unexpected partnership, client referrals. Her business began to grow in ways she could not have strategically planned. Anna had aligned her mind with the frequency of abundance, and her external world eventually reorganized itself to match that frequency. This is the deepest truth. Your external reality is always a reflection of your dominant state of mind. Not instantly, but inevitably. As Wattles wrote, the way you think determines what you do, and what you do determines what you get. You have the power to choose the creative mind over the competitive mind in every moment. This choice, made consistently, fundamentally alters your relationship with wealth and opens portals to prosperity you can barely imagine now. Choose wisely, choose consciously, choose now. One of Wallace D. Wattles' greatest revelations was that thought without action is just fantasy. Likewise, action without aligned thought is just empty movement. True power lies in the harmonious union of the two. Thought is the creative power or the driving force that makes the creative power act. Thinking in a certain way will bring wealth to you, but you should not rely on thought alone without paying attention to personal action. This truth resolves the false dilemma between manifestation and hard work that confuses so many prosperity seekers. It's not one or the other. It's the precise combination of both that unlocks true abundance. Aligned thinking establishes the vibrational frequency. Efficient action expresses and manifests this frequency in the material world. But be careful, not all action is created equal. Wattles makes a crucial distinction between efficient action and mere busy work. Efficient action flows from a creative state of mind. It is focused, purpose-driven, aligned with your natural gifts, and driven to create real value. It is the quality of the action, not the quantity, that determines its results. Many people live in a perpetual state of busyness, always doing, rarely achieving. They confuse movement with progress, activity with productivity. This is the trap of inefficient action. It is not the number of things you do, but the efficiency of each separate action that counts. Wrote Wattles, "Every inefficient act is a failure, and if you spend your life doing inefficient acts, your whole life will be a failure." These are strong words, but they contain a liberating truth. Carlos was a businessman who regularly worked 14-hour days, rushing from one task to another, perpetually exhausted and still barely managing to keep his business afloat. He was the epitome of busyness, always on the move, never truly moving forward. After encountering Wattles' teachings, Carlos made a radical change. Instead of striving to do more, he committed to doing better. Reduce your workday to 6 focused hours, eliminating distractions and interruptions. Before each action, he paused briefly to align himself with his larger vision and infuse the task with conscious purpose. Surprisingly, in just 1 month, his productivity doubled. Within 3 months, his business was finally growing consistently. Within 6 months, he had achieved the profitability he had been chasing for years. Carlos had discovered the secret to efficient action. Less can be exponentially more when your actions are energized by correct mental alignment. Here's how you can incorporate this principle into your life right now. Before taking any significant action, take a moment to consciously align yourself with your greater vision and purpose. Feel the energy of the action before taking it. Prioritize brutally a single high-value action, executed with excellence and total focus. Surpasses 10 low-value actions performed with divided attention. Infuse every action with gratitude and faith. Even seemingly mundane tasks can be transformed when performed with the right awareness. Let go of the need to control specific results. Your responsibility is aligned action. The exact how and when of manifestation are managed by the higher intelligence of life. Stay in the present moment while acting. Maximum efficiency occurs when you are fully present for the immediate task, not torn between the past and the future. Efficient action has an almost meditative character. It's not frantic or stressful. It is focused, yet fluid, powerful, yet relaxed, directed, but open. This is how you walk the perfect middle path, neither paralyzed by over-reliance on thought without action, nor exhausted by action without thoughtful alignment. As Wattles wrote, by thinking the right way and doing things the right way, you are sure to get rich. This is the formula for effortless prosperity, the harmonious marriage between the invisible power of aligned thought and the tangible expression of efficient action. One final truth to ponder: when you act the right way, with the right awareness, the universe conspiratorially reorganizes itself to support your efforts. What might have required years of hard work in competitive consciousness often manifests itself in months or even weeks in creative consciousness. Your prosperity does not have to be a journey of struggle. It can be, and should be, a natural expression of who you truly are, manifested through the union of aligned thought and efficient action. There's a state of being that transcends both seeking wealth and having wealth. It's what we might call living in the flow of abundance, a way of existence, where prosperity becomes your natural experience not a distant destination or past achievement. This is the state that Wallace D. Wattles described as living the right way. When you live the right way, he wrote, you are in harmony with all the forces in the universe that work constantly to expand life for all. In this state, you are no longer striving for wealth or anxiously protecting what you have accumulated. You are simply flowing with the natural current of abundance that is the very essence of life. How do you know when you are living in this flow? There are unmistakable signs. You feel a calm confidence about money and resources, regardless of your current financial situation. Opportunities seem to appear at the perfect time, often in unexpected ways. You experience a sense of lightness and joy around work and creating value. You genuinely celebrate the prosperity of others without envy or comparison. Financial decisions are guided by intuitive wisdom, not fear or greed. You live in a state of expansive gratitude that naturally attracts more to give thanks. This flow of abundance is not an accident or a stroke of luck. It is the natural result of consciously aligning your thoughts, feelings, and actions with the universal laws of prosperity. Mariana was an artist who struggled financially for years, trapped in the art versus money paradigm that dominates so many creative minds. She unconsciously believed that her artistic integrity required a life of financial struggle. After discovering Wattles' principles, she began to dismantle this limiting belief. He realized that his art could actually flourish with material abundance, not despite it. He began to view his prosperity not as a selfish goal, but as a means to expand his creative impact on the world. Gradually, his relationship with money transformed. Instead of seeing each sale as a trade where someone needed to lose, she began to see each transaction as a sacred exchange of value. Her unique artistic expression for resources that would allow for more creation. This internal alignment was soon reflected in your external reality. Collectors began to find it, exposure opportunities arose, lucrative collaborations materialized. Her income tripled the first year, then quadrupled the second, all while creating her most authentic and meaningful work. Mariana had entered the flow of abundance. This flow is available to all of us, regardless of our calling, background, or current circumstances. It is our natural state when we remove the mental and emotional blocks that separate us from it. A crucial aspect of living in this flow is understanding the role of relationships and connections. In the competitive mindset, others are seen primarily as threats or resources to be exploited. In flow consciousness, we recognize that we are all interconnected in a web of shared abundance. Substance's desire is for more life for all, wrote Wattles. When you operate from this understanding, you naturally look for ways to uplift those around you. You recognize that your personal prosperity is enhanced, not diminished, by the success of others. This realization fundamentally transforms your relationships. You become generous effortlessly, not out of sacrifice or obligation, but because you recognize that generosity is simply the natural expression of the flow of abundance through you. Even in times of apparent contraction or challenge, which inevitably occur in anyone's journey, you maintain your connection to this inner flow. You recognize that temporary circumstances do not define your deeper reality. As Wattles wrote, in times of doubt and indecision, cultivate gratitude. This is the core practice for staying in the flow of abundance, even when external evidence seems to contradict you. Gratitude is not just a response to what you already have. It is the vibrational frequency that attracts more to be grateful. Living in the flow of abundance is not a final destination, but a continuous journey of expansion. Life always offers new levels of prosperity, new horizons of possibility, new paths for creative expression. As you continue on this path, your very existence becomes a living demonstration of the principles that Wallace D. Wattles codified more than a century ago. You become a light that shows others that there is, in fact, a better way, that true and lasting wealth comes through creation, not competition. And this is perhaps the true essence of the flow of abundance, not just receiving, but becoming a channel through which prosperity flows to the entire world. We have reached the point of integration of everything. We have explored about the revolutionary philosophy of Wallace D. Wattles. The fundamental truth remains crystal clear. You don't need to compete to get rich. True wealth flows from your ability to create, to add value, to align with the universal laws of prosperity. This is not just a pretty theory. It is an exact science with verifiable principles and predictable results when applied accurately. You have learned about the thinking substance that permeates the universe and responds faithfully to your dominant thoughts. He understood the right path that transforms intention into material manifestation. He explored the fundamental difference between the competitive mind that limits and the creative mind that liberates. You have discovered the power of gratitude as the vibrational frequency that most aligns with abundance. He saw how efficient action, when energized by right thought, produces results that disordered effort could never achieve. Now comes the most important moment, integrating these principles into your daily life. Unapplied wisdom is just information. Unimplemented knowledge is just unrealized potential. It is in the consistent application of these principles that your life is transformed. So here's your challenge, not for tomorrow, not for someday, but for this very moment. Choose a principle from this teaching that resonates most with you. Maybe it's practicing gratitude, creative visualization, letting go of the competitive mind, or taking efficient action. Commit to incorporating it into your life daily for the next 30 days, without exception. Imagine what your life could become if you consistently live from the creative mindset, instead of the competitive one. Visualize how different your decisions, relationships, and outcomes would be if you operated from the flow of abundance instead of the fear of scarcity. Don't let this be just another inspirational piece of content that produces a moment of clarity, followed by a return to old patterns. Make this the turning point, the moment when you irrevocably decide to abandon the paradigm of competition and embrace the path of creation. As Wattles wrote, the person who wishes to become rich must spend his leisure hours in contemplation of his vision and in sincere gratitude that the reality is being given to him. Contemplate your vision now. Feel its reality as if it were already manifested. Give thanks in advance for your achievement, not as an exercise in pretense, but as an acknowledgement of the inevitability of your manifestation when you follow universal laws. Remember, you are a being of unlimited power. The same thinking substance that created galaxies is available to you, responding faithfully to your conscious command. You are not a victim of economic circumstances, but a conscious creator of your financial reality. The choice has always been and will always be yours. You can continue in the mindset of struggle, of competition, of scarcity, or you can take the transformative leap into the consciousness of creation, of contribution, of unlimited abundance. It's time to rewrite your financial history. It's time to release the natural flow of prosperity that is your birthright. It's time to demonstrate, through your own life, the timeless truth that Wallace D. Wattles discovered more than a century ago. You don't need to compete to get rich. You just need to create, contribute, and live in alignment with the universal laws of prosperity. The world is waiting for your unique expression. Abundance is awaiting your recognition. The time to act is now. Which principle will you implement today?